Today we are making a video on Fedora MATE Compiz Live 38 edition. This is a desktop spin of Fedora 38. Here is the boot menu of Fedora MATE Compiz Live edition. In order to boot it in live mode, you need to click on Start Fedora MATE Compiz Live 38. So these are the other options in the boot menu. So if you want to test it or if you want to troubleshoot, you can choose any option. Let me click on enter. So it's going to take like a minute of a maximum or 30 to 40 seconds usually. This is the timing of every Linux distro, which takes this much of time to load up the desktop layout completely. So I forgot to mention that I'm running it on a virtualization, which is a VMware with 80 GB of hard disk, with a 4 GB of RAM and with 2 processors. So we need to wait for a few more seconds. I already made a Fedora 38 Linux distro and some of the desktop spins. I covered every desktop spin. If you want to check that out, you can check that out in my channel. So I'll be posting 2 videos daily without missing any day. So I already posted content of another video. So this is the next video. If you want to check that out for another video, check that out after watching this video. So here you can see a Fedora logo loading. It should take a few more seconds and we should be having our desktop layout completely loaded. It usually takes like a completely 30 to 50 seconds or maximum 1 minute. I already mentioned that. So let's wait to completely load up. So here you can see a mouse pointer, and you should be seeing a mouse pointer with a highlighted color. Because I said that in my recordings. So still few seconds to load up the desktop layout. It took like a 35 to 40 seconds, I guess. So let me change the display resolution because it looks pretty odd. So I mentioned already that I'm running it on a VMware, so it automatically changes the display resolution. If you want, you can change the display settings by going to system and hardware like that. So the wallpaper is properly not set right now, so let's try to change the wallpaper by going to desktop preference. And here you can see there is a bit of freeze or a delay, and this is a stable version. I didn't mention that. So this is a stable version of Fedora 38 MATE Compiz. So let's go back and choose the wallpaper of Fedora 38. This is the Fedora 38 wallpaper. So let's first go to the system monitor because we need to check how much resources are consuming right now. So this is a stable version. Always if you want to install this on your main PC or a work PC, you need to first boot it in a live boot first, then go with the installation. After just use the live boot for 7 to 8 hours. After you're satisfied without bugs, go with the installation. Don't just blindly go with the installation first. So be patient and use it in a live boot and then go with the installation after you're satisfied. And if you don't find any bugs, go with the installation. So here is some of the information, which is a Fedora Linux release 38 MATE Compiz 64-bit architecture. It's only available in a 64-bit, so there is no 32-bit architecture. Kernel version is a 6.2.9-300 Fedora 38 and MATE 1.26.1, and hardware is 4 GB. I already mentioned that I'm using a 4 GB of RAM for the virtualization. So let's go to the processors right now. So these are all the processors running right now. So let's go to the resources and let me change the color so you can look properly. The CPU is going a bit of high here. Let's run until 60 seconds and check the graph here. As you can see, there is no stable graph. There is a high peak and a low peak somewhere here. So we need to run properly. And the RAM right now is almost a 900 MB, which is pretty low as compared to other desktop spins. So it's almost a good RAM usage here. I think we can consider it as a lightweight desktop spin for the Fedora. So it's clearly up to you to choose this desktop spin for Fedora or not. So I'm not going to recommend or I'm not going to give the opinion because it's 900 MB. Still it depends on your own how you use this Linux distro. because it all depends on you what you use like that. So here is the RAM, here is the CPU is now stable. As you can see, almost we ran almost like a 60 seconds now. The graphs are going good, and it's almost under 20%. That is pretty good. The file system is here. Let's check the version of the system monitor, which should be 1.26.0. So let's open the terminal and check some of the distro information. So the version of the terminal should be 1.26.0. Let's type in the command, which is inxi-sv8. This is the command which will grab complete distro information. As you can see, we got every information of the Linux distro. So let's try to change the color if it's available. Let's go to the color. Let's change the black and white so you can see properly now. A host is a local host live. A kernel is a 6.2.9-300, which I already mentioned, and it's a 64-bit architecture. And compiler GCC version is a 2.39-9, and the Mako version is a 1.26.1, and desktop environment version is a 1.26.1, and LightDM version is a 1.32.0, and distro is a Fedora release 38. As you can see, every distro information is here. So on the machine it says VMware because I'm running it on a VMware, and BIOS Phoenix version is a 6.0, and RAM consumption is here, which is almost 1 GB of 4 GB of RAM. Here is my CPU. If you want to check that out, you can check that out on your own by pausing the video. So the display is X11 and server is Xorg version 1.20.14. Compositor Mako version is a 1.26.1, which I already mentioned. So on the monitor side, you get this all the display resolutions or the screen settings to choose. API OpenGL version is a 4.1, Mesa is a 23.0.1, and Pipewire version is a 0.3.67, Pulse Audio version is a 16.1. So let's scroll it down, and I'm using a 80 GB of hard disk, which I already mentioned. So here is a 80 GB of hard disk for the virtualization or a VMware. So let's scroll it down, and INXI version is a 3.3.25, and Shell Bash version is a 5.2.15 or 1.5. Systemd version is a 253. Uptime is 5 minutes. Process running right now are 293. So let's type in other commands like same commands which will get you the same information but in a short form. For example, INXI, the same information will be shown but in a short form. INXI-b and INXI-capital G. So let's type in neofetch if it's available or pre-installed. Neofetch is not pre-installed. If you want to install it, you can install it by typing sudo dnf install neofetch. So let's type in cat:/etc/issue. Here is the information. Let's type in htop if it's available or pre-installed. Htop is also not installed. So let's exit this thing. So these are the complete information of the distro. So let's open the Firefox web browser and let me show you their official website or the desktop spins and the downloading process. So Firefox should take like a 20 to 30 seconds a maximum to load up. So that's the usual timing it takes in the Linux distro of Fedora. But it opened in a few seconds, didn't take a lot of time. So let me close this tab. Let's first check the version of the Fedora Linux, not the Firefox. Firefox version is a 111.0.1. The latest version is a 1112. So let's type in the search term, which is a Fedora 38 desktop spin. So this is the search term you need to type in your search bar or a web browser, and this is the first link, or you just need to type in this URL https://spins.fedoraproject.org. So it says Fedora 38 release. I already made a lot of videos of every desktop spins and the stable version of the Fedora 38. If you want to check that out, you can check that out. I already made the KDE Plasma desktop spin, XFCE, LXQT, everything. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out. So right now it's a MATE Compiz desktop. So let's click on this thing, and it takes a few seconds, and I'm using a VPN, so it takes a lot of time for me. So it took this much of time. It should be instant on your PC. So this is the download now, or the download location. So it's almost like a 2 GB of ISO file size with a 64-bit architecture. If you want to verify, you can verify your download here. Click on download, and the download should start in a few seconds. Here is the download. I'm using a VPN, I already mentioned that, so it's slow for me. The file size is around 2.1 GB. So this is the process of downloading the Fedora desktop spin of MATE Compiz. So let's try to install the Fedora 38 desktop spin. I'm just going to show you the installation process. I'm not going to install it because I don't want to. So it usually takes like a 20 to 30 seconds because the Anaconda installer takes a few seconds there. As you can see in the taskbar or the panel, there is a installer opened. So this is a welcome screen of the installer. First you need to choose your language. I'm going to choose the English on both sides. There are plenty of languages available. You can choose anything you want. Click on continue, and don't forget this is a stable version. So whatever the freezes happens or the bugs you find, this is a stable version. It is not a beta version or a pre-release. This is a stable version. I choose the keyboard. So now we need to choose the destination of your hard disk or SSD, whatever you have. So I'm choosing 80 GB of hard disk. Click on done twice. You can encrypt anything or you can customize on your own here. As you can see, there are plenty of options. You can customize it on your own. So after everything is good, it should turn black instead of red. So it turned red, black. Now let's change this thing to enable root account. You need to provide your password. For the sake of the video, I'm choosing the simple password, which is 12345. And you will be getting a warning like the password is too short. You will have to press done twice to confirm it. So you need to type in done twice because the password is a bit of easy or a short. And the time and date you can choose directly clicking on the map, or you can choose the drop down menu here. I'm choosing America as Los Angeles. You don't need to provide the actual location. You can give any location you want. Click on done. This is a network and a host name. You can provide the host name if you want. I'm not going to give that. And user creation is the thing. You need to provide your username, password, all these things, and write down the password because if you forgot, you need to be struggling with the password by scratching your head like that. It's better to write down the password instead of forgetting. So you can give any name. You don't need to give the actual name. You can provide any name you want. So again, I'm choosing the simple username and simple password for the sake of the video. Here is the advanced option. You can customize on your own. So click on done twice. So these are all the process of the installation. After clicking on installation, it should take a maximum of 20 to 25 minutes, not seconds. And if you have a good PC, you should be installed in like a 10 to 12 minutes. That's or sometimes it will be like a 5 to 10 minutes. It completely depends on your PC and the Linux distro. If it's a good Linux distro or the good ISO file, you should be installed soon. So this is the installation process. So it says we don't touch your disk until you click begin installation. It says they will not touch anything until you click on begin installation. I think you got the point what they are saying, what they're trying to say here. So let's exit this thing. And what else we left is here some of the desktop features and some applications, and end the video. That's it for the video. So let's try to change the background and some of the features. Let's check out all the features. So these are the same and common wallpapers you find, and these are the same themes. There is nothing changed here. Just these wallpapers like a Fedora midnight wallpapers. So you can customize on your own. About panels 1.26.2 and date and time. These are some of the features which is pretty common in every Linux distro. There is nothing changed here. So these are the applications. So on the preference you have a hardware. These are all the MATE desktop environment features. You already know, no need to show everything. or launch everything and show you. So these are all the same things, there is nothing different here. So control center, so places, and let's check out the applications which comes pre-installed. So there is nothing from the Fedora because nothing is different here, just the default apps which comes with the MATE Desktop environment. So as you can see, these are all the available apps. So some of the features, if you want to customize, you can customize on your own. So let me close this thing, and let's check out the file manager version, which is Kaja 1.26.1. So what we left here, just to open the some of the apps and check their version and end the video. We saw the Firefox browser version, so let's open the Thunderbird. Let's open the LibreOffice, and you can see the LibreOffice icons are changed. So these are the new versions or the new icons of LibreOffice. Let's check the version of the LibreOffice and Thunderbird and some few of the apps, and open the system monitor and end the video. So we should be having our LibreOffice and Thunderbird loaded in a seconds. So let's check the version. The version should be like a 7.5.2.2 because that's the latest version. Let me close the Firefox browser. So the version is 7.5.2.2. Let me close the LibreOffice, and the Thunderbird version is a 102.9.1. So what else we left here, or we don't left anything, I guess. Let's open the Gparted also. I think we covered everything. Parallel media player on the Office, Atrel document viewer. On the internet we saw the everything. Transmission is a torrent client, you already know. FileZilla is also available. On the graphics you don't have anything. So we covered everything. So let's open the system monitor and end the video after seeing this version. And the parallel media player, here is the version. Let me close this thing also. Click on OK. Let's open system monitor and check the resources at the end of the video after using all the things. Right now is almost 1 GB. Before it was like 850 MB, but now it's almost 1 GB, as you can see. CPU is also stable, nothing high peak or a low peak. It's a basic, the common thing in the beginning of the opening the system monitor. You need to run like a 60 seconds. You should be having a stable graph. If the ISO file is good and if the Linux is good, the graph should be stable. If the Linux distro is worst, you should be seeing a high peak like up to 60%, 70% like that. So the RAM is also good and the CPU is also good. So it's clearly up to you to choose it or not. If you have a 2 GB RAM and if you ask me to use this Linux distro or not, if you can use it on 2 GB RAM because it's just consuming a 1 GB and you should be having 800 MB extra for some of the apps, because 2 GB of RAM will be having like a 1.8 GB of size. So I can recommend this Linux distro for the guys who has 2 GB of RAM and who has a low-end PC. You can use it, I think. Because I don't have a low-end PC right now, because I am having a 12th gen i5 with 8 GB of RAM. So it's working good for me. I don't know how it works for you. So if you are having a 2 GB of RAM, just run it on a live boot for a few hours, like a 7 to 8 hours. After you don't find any bugs or you don't encounter any bugs, you should be good to use, or you should be good to install it on your main PC or a work PC if you only want to install it. So it's always better to use it on a live boot first, then go with the installation later. Just use like a 7 to 8 hours and don't try to save anything in a live boot, because after you reboot everything will be deleted. So be careful for that also. So I think that's it for the video, and I will be posting 2 videos daily. So if you watch this video completely, you can go check that out, other video which I already posted. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.